Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Julie Alexandria here in San Diego with Jennifer Mercedes in New Jersey and Ozzie Guillen Jr. in Chicago. Happy Monday, guys. How was your weekend? How you guys doing?
Good. Happy Monday. Looking forward to this week. A lot of eating.
Yes, we are thankful AF. We have so much to be thankful for. We're going to get to all of that in just a little bit, and also how teams and individual players are giving back and what our plans are for the holiday. We hope that you're all enjoying this sort of pre-holiday time. And unfortunately, some unfortunate news here that broke last week. Robinson Cano was found guilty of using a steroid that many say is kind of the worst of the worst. So what happens now? Well, he has a 162 game suspension. That is, of course, assuming that they will play 162 games. But what it implies is that he's basically suspended the entire season, no matter how many games that they end up playing in 2021. He has had to forfeit his entire salary, which on the plus side opens up some options for the Mets as far as salary cap goes. But he has tested positive for stanozolol, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, a performance-enhancing substance. And of course, this goes against MLB's drug rule of no juicing substances. Jen, what stands out to you about this story? Because some people are kind of left scratching their heads.
Yeah, so for me, it's such an unfortunate situation. And for me, I'm still struggling to kind of form my thoughts around it. For me, Robbie's family. So it's hard to come out and make a statement. Like when the news first came out, I really didn't even want to say anything because it's so hard to be like, wait, he did what? And then on the other side, how you mentioned that story that he tested positive for, it's still like I am scratching my head because it's like it doesn't even make sense that somebody of his stature, and after the first time of everything that happened, that somebody like him would use a substance that is so detectable, so easily detectable. And really, it's like that's from the ancient years. Right now, guys who have tested positive for that, a lot of minor leaguers. So it does leave me scratching my head. It is unfortunate. And I hope at some point, when he feels like it's the right time for him to discuss, and he gives his side of whatever it is, and that's all I really can say about it, because it is an unfortunate situation.
And you mentioned before when it happened. So everyone, this is his second offense. If you weren't already aware, Cano previously served an 80-game suspension in 2018 after violating MLB's joint drug prevention and treatment program for the first time. So this is not his first offense, and I believe that is why the punishment is as harsh as it is. And a lot of people are saying he can kiss his dreams of possibly being in the Hall of Fame one day goodbye because of this second offense. Ozzie, what stands out to you about this story, and what do you make of it?
A very confusing story, because I think that I never understood juicing after you get paid. Okay, Robinson has probably the best contract in Major League Baseball that was signed in his era. The substance that he used, man, the people that are around him, they're like 25 years behind. It's like having a Nokia phone. We're on like iPhone 17. Like, if you're going to do something, buddy, you got the money, you got the resources, find the best doctors out there and do it like everybody else does. If you're going to do it right. So you're not 16 and you got popped because your friend told you and sold you in the corner. This is the stuff that guys are taking at Gold's Gym. Like, there's just way better stuff out there. And so that's confusing. Point. That's why I'm confused about that. So
you see a tweet right now from TJ Quinn, who kind of alludes to what you're talking about, and what I mentioned too. It's I don't believe in conspiracy theories, even though there are a lot of things that sometimes it make you scratch your head, and it's like, well, what is behind this? And like TJ Quinn says, he's like, there must be a whale of a story behind this one, and it makes you scratch your head and think like, what?
Right, because something doesn't check out, right? And that's basically what we're all kind of alluding to here, is that something is rotten in this story.
He doesn't check out. Because if a lot of other people that I know in baseball would have done this, I would have said, not shocked. Like, shocker. Robinson's a very smart man, meaning he goes about his business the right way, meaning not that he didn't do it before, but I think if he was going to go down that route, he would find the best people to advise him to do this, not tell him to do the most detectable drug on the market. Again, I want to know, and I want this information to start getting disclosed, is what lab did they use? Okay, is this the same lab that was giving false positives for COVID? What's the process? Because if we are going to—
You said testing lab, not the lab that developed the hormone.
No, the hormone, I don't care, the testing lab. Like, I want to know, like, if I get popped,
right,
I'm going to lawyer up. I'm not going to count. He cannot count on the Players Association, because the Players Association is in cahoots with Major League Baseball. They got the collective bargaining. He's already a guy that's been popped. They're going to do what's best for the league. They're going to make negotiations and kind of make deals that might not benefit you. Lawyer up. Don't use your agent. Get a real lawyer and get to the bottom of this and say, okay, if I did test positive, okay, if he does have a doubt in his mind, lawyer up, find out what the lab, who the lab was, how did they do it, what process are they using. And as a fan, I want to get that information, because after this COVID situation and all these false positive, and then I find out this is a lab that's doing the steroid testing, it's like, really? Okay, I want to know a little bit more, because I'm super intrigued about what guys are taking now, because I still believe that there's guys that are always pushing the envelope. So I'm always doing research on, like, okay, what happened after the cream and what's out there? What are they using in Europe? So when he came out for this one, I was like, really? Like, it was surprising.
And also, I mean, there's another story out there that hasn't really been touched on that much, and it's Tres Barreras, who's with the Nationals, I believe, and he's suspended, along with about 21 other minor league players for a different substance. But this particular substance, he actually was suing the league, because this particular substance can remain in his system, in a person's system, up to years, and it does something which is called pulsing. So it can come out, it can retract in your system, and so it shows traces. And what he tested positive for was like 0.10 pictograms, I think it was, which is less than 100 grams or something like that. It's like a crazy, really, really low number. And other leagues, what they've done is like created a threshold for this particular substance. And if there's like a minimal amount, they won't test positive, because when could this have been used? It could have been done years ago. So I would like to know the science also behind this particular one that Robbie tested positive for. And I do want to know, the lab and all of that information. And we're saying all of this to say is like, we deserve answers as people, as fans, as media. We want to know, like, what lab was used? Is it the same lab? Is it the same lab that gave false positives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Now, if all of this is exactly how Major League Baseball is saying it, he tested positive for a substance, then I want to know from Robbie, at whatever point he feels comfortable talking about it, is, the mindset, and the mindset of an athlete that is towards the end of their career, and what pushes them to do something like that. I mean, I want to hear from A-Rod. A-Rod
not embarrass yourself. You want to be the best. I'll give you the answer, Jen. People are critiquing him. If I'm a Mets fan, I'm mad that he got popped. I really am. I'm mad that he got popped, because he might have had an amazing year and giving my team a World Series ring. I'm not going to hide behind this cliche of sitting in a high moral ground. I've been around baseball. I know guys that took it that didn't get popped. I know guys that, didn't take it and could have made it. So I'm not going to sit here. The top 5 guys currently right now are not getting voted in the Hall of Fame because they juice. But the guy who's on the list as number 6, Fred McGriff, they won't let him in because he only hit 491. So the media's full of it when it comes to that. For Robbie, he was chasing a legacy, okay? He was like, I got popped once, okay? It's kind of up in the air if these guys get in. If I have a couple more good years, I might get in, but I might win a ring. If Robbie wins a ring with the Mets, okay, that trade, it becomes validated, okay? Every time they bring his name up, they say it was the worst signing of all time. The Yankees knew what they were doing. They got rid of Robbie. It's a pride thing. He looks around and says, man, this guy's playing really good. This guy's doing that. And you have your doubts. Unless you're best friends with somebody, you look at a guy and you're like, man, I'm better than that guy. I wonder what that guy's thinking. And that's how this whole steroid thing happened, because it's a competition thing. So for me to sit here, if he was okay with losing $24 million, who am I to tell him that that's not okay? If he was okay with losing that much money, okay, then good for him, because he definitely, his ego, and he wants to be the best. I would be worse than Chris Davis. I'll hit 100 and get booed every day at Shea Stadium and be like, you're paying me every single cent of it. So I can't hate him as a competitor for him wanting to be the best, especially with everybody being forgiven and everybody come back from the game. The last month, my mindset has changed a lot. I'm not going to sit here and judge Robbie. The P-Man got him. It is what it is. The P-Man got him. It's Russian roulette. He took a chance and he got busted. So you know, at the end of the day, the P-man got him.
I want to say one more thing also. Agents who are out there speaking on this subject, it's not a good look. I don't know, Ozzy, what you think about it, but I've seen a couple of agents out there tweeting like, oh, you know, finally, or we knew, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that makes me feel like if I was a player, I don't know if I want agents to be discussing this, because you know what? You don't know who your future clientele could be. And you don't even know if your current clientele could be doping. And what are you then going to say? You know,
that's just unprofessional, Jen. I mean, that is unprofessional.
It's
of the
unprofessional
agents to be doing that.
I hate when agents say, oh, we thought so. Shut up. You don't know what you thought you didn't know. Everyone has doubts, okay? Everybody does. Like, oh, man, because you're always going to root for your horse. You're always going to root for the guy that you want. So when you're looking at this and you're going to say, oh, you know, again, you have doubts. You guys have good years. It's just when a bad player has a good year or vice versa. If you're an agent, even though your player's they're telling you everything about their lives, it's not true. They're still human beings. They're still keeping secret. If I was a player and my agent was doing that, I'd give him a call and say, hey, dude, shut up. Don't bring any light over here, because you know why? Major League Baseball loves guys staying quiet. As soon as you start pointing fingers and bringing up names, they call you out. They'll say, oh, really? Okay, this is how many guys are doing it. And that's when they start investigating. So everybody needs to just not say, we knew, oh, we know guys are still doing. It's baseball. It's never going to be perfect. Okay, guys are going to get caught. Robbie took a chance. You're not losing $24 million. The Mets are not getting hurt because now they get $24 million that they can go invest. And Robbie lost. And when he gets back, he needs to play baseball and take a chance. My advice to him is, though, 3-strike policy no longer can be part of baseball. So, again, no one's ever been banned. But again, we forgive and forget. He's not the only guy with 2 strikes on his thing. Maybe the Hall of Fame's not going to be his thing. But again, he took a chance and he got caught.
Yeah. And, you know, when it comes to PEDs, when it comes to any sort of performance enhancing substance, or whether it's using technology and banging on trash cans or using cameras, buzzers, any sort of, you know, detection, or when it comes to substances put on the ball, no matter how you slice it, there is a lot of cheating that is going on in Major League Baseball. It is no secret, although maybe to some of the fans who don't know and don't have the inside track. But an article just came out talking about pitchers and the fact that they are using some sort of grip substance. And we just saw earlier this year, one of the Angels visiting clubhouse attendants got fired for technically giving away this sort of juice that players could use. Ozzy, I know you're laughing because obviously this was nothing new. He had been doing it for years. This is something that is available to guys in the clubhouse if they really want to seek it out. And now we're kind of shining a light on exactly what these guys are doing, whether it's a mixture of pine tar or something on the rag or the bag. I mean, or whether it's just on the helmet. I mean, we've seen guys get really creative with this stuff. So where do you draw the line and how do you control it?
How? Umpires doing their jobs. Number one, okay, Major League Baseball just implementing the rules. Mm-hmm. None of these guys are bringing this stuff on the mound with them. If you do it on the mound, the other manager's going to call you out. The pine tar has been around forever. Guess what? People start talking about spin rate. Oh, it gives you a better spin rate. Now it's a big deal to everybody. Something that a lot of veteran guys do. A lot of kids weren't learning that unless you were a part of baseball at an early age or until you got to pro baseball. A lot of veterans did it so they can grip their pitches more. The ball, you know, weather, cold weather. But guys are just gripping. It doesn't make a huge difference. Like guys, you know, you walk and you touch the pine tar. You know, you touch it. And you have your rag. You have your rag on your hand the whole time. You know, you see catchers on it. What's the difference if I'm a catcher and I touch my hand and I touch the ball? So again, if you have it on you on the mound, it's a big deal. But the whole the pine tar, the rag, it's what a change. Guys have it in, you know, bullpen. They hold it. That's not illegal. It's in my hands. If the umpire comes to me and says, "Hey, what do you have in your hands?" because the other team calls it out, then that's an issue. But we've seen guys that, you know, their hat's a little bit dirty because they try to grab it, but that's on the ump. If he's not on the mound, they got to read the rules. So now we're trying to perfect. This is Major League Baseball. This is George Brett calling out and saying, hey, some guys, though, I will admit, some guys I'm like, if I was playing against them, I'm like, dude, you literally almost brought the whole case of pine tar. So I think that's something that players and managers kind of call each other out on. But for the people to say, oh, this is making a huge difference, Josh Gibson, Bob Gibson, Sandy Koufax, they probably touched it at some point ahead. And this is another thing. I think pine tar is great. I don't think it's better than bullfrog. You put bullfrog on yourself, the tanning lotion, the sunscreen, you put bullfrog on yourself. and you're playing in Atlanta in 100-degree weather, you go like anytime you touch yourself, it's like a slippery slope, like a slip and slide. So again, umps look for that, players look for that, but everyone's like opening up Pandora's box, like, oh my God, this is so new. Again, the media making up a story. Like the person who wrote this story, to me, when I read it, it felt like somebody from Mars was writing a story who had never been in a Major League Baseball clubhouse. That's literally how I felt it, because anyone who's been in Major League Baseball around a clubhouse and around the media knows that this has been happening. So for you to write a story like you're so shocked, double standard, you're full of it.
Right, because it's 2020 and we're literally talking about grip enhancement like it's a foreign concept.
Yeah, and so, but my question would be is like, we already know pitchers struggle when it's cold. Is that not a safety issue for the batter if a pitcher can't just control the ball? And my question would be is, why not allow it, particularly specifically during colder weather? Is that would you have an issue with that?
You can't have it on you, but you can have it again. Guys from the bullpen can't have it in their pocket. Guys from the bullpen, they tag themselves. No, you put a little bit in your hat so you can feel the grip. Guys do it on the field. Again, if you go out there and you put 10 pounds of pine tar, you're gonna say, hey man, what are you doing as a hitter? You think the ball's doing something, tell the ump, hey man, change the ball. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Everyone is paying attention to the computer. Watch the game, players. Watch the game. Okay, I'm like, watch the game. When there's arguments between teams and you didn't know why they started fighting, is because somebody on one side said, I know what you're doing, stop it, or bring it down. Okay, and that's what arguments started. Now guys don't even watch the game. We had a team banging on trash cans for a whole season. Nobody said anything. Now people are overusing pine tar. No one's saying anything. What are the umps doing? What are the umps? What are the managers? What are the players doing? Like, are you guys literally falling asleep at the wheel? So I think that it's not an issue. That's why I don't think that managers make it a huge issue. Because if Aroldis Chapman is pitching in April, okay, in New York, and it's 30 degrees below zero, as a hitter, I might tell him, hey, Chapman, go put the top.
That's what I'm saying.
I want you to drill me. Like, I want you to at least know where it's going. So, and that's why I think in baseball, they don't call you out. And this is now a new culture of like, yeah, we know that you shouldn't put the whole pine tar thing on it, but a little bit doesn't hurt. So it's those things like the rule in the bat, like the pine tar should go till here. Some guys do it a little bit longer, and then until no one calls you out. But people are like pretending like guys are bringing in like scuffing the ball with like a foreign substance. Like it's the rag. Like literally, like guys have this in their bags. Like I grew up like, oh, that's my pine tar bag. Don't forget it. Like it's just something that you had as a pitcher because again, it's part of your grip. It's part of the game. This story to me is like the way that they put it is like it literally looks like a needle. And back when the needle thing was happening, if I was 11 years old and I knew what was happening around baseball because of rumors, the media knew it. Now I'm 36 and I call media out. It's BS. It's a story to break out. A couple players are complaining. So if you don't want another opponent to do it, tell your manager, hey, go check that person's glove or pine tar. You know why they don't do it? Because he's going to say, dude, we got 6 guys in our bullpen that are doing it. Shut up and play baseball. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, it's only illegal if you get caught, right? I'm kidding. I love that quote. Okay. It is Thanksgiving. We are very thankful for so much. And, I feel like this specific holiday season is incredibly poignant after everything that this world and that our communities have been through with COVID and just 2020 in general. My goodness, we have all been through so much. So now is a time to hopefully safely, socially distance and any sort of mask wearing to your level of comfort that you can enjoy the holidays. But we here at La Vida Baseball want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving and a very safe Thanksgiving. And we want to share how we celebrate Thanksgiving. So Jen, what are your plans? What does your family have in store for the holiday?
So, I mean, every year we join here at my home, my brothers, my sisters, that's all of us. This year it's going to be a little bit less because there is restrictions on indoor gatherings. So our immediate bubble basically is going to be at home. But there's always a lot of fun, a lot of food. And, my niece is now understanding things more. She's 2 years old. So it's more fun, right, to integrate the little ones into the celebrations. But I'm just really thankful that my family is healthy and that we're all okay and that we get to celebrate Thanksgiving. There's many people around the world that don't have that privilege or luxury anymore. So I'm very, very thankful.
Ozzy, what do you guys have going on there in Chicago?
So we traditionally would go to my in-laws at Sarah's holiday, obviously because it's a bigger issue, a bigger deal with them. But I don't think we are going this year because of the COVID. Obviously it changes the rules, but we will celebrate. I always tell people this. Everyone's obsessed with the turkey and what are we going to eat. Just have Thanksgiving. Eat whatever you want to eat. You want to order McDonald's, KFC, whatever it is.
Pizza.
As long as you're with your family, though, as long as you're with your family and you take up time in the day and really think about being grateful, okay? And saying, even though something bad is happening, counting your blessings, that's what I would tell Robinson Cano. Bro, you just got popped. Big deal. This is not the end of it. You're not even 50 yet. Put your head up. So again, that's what the things I look like. And this year I'm grateful for the fact that I grew up in an era in baseball that I know the difference, because the way this game is going, I'm so grateful that of my age, I'm so grateful that I was able to see the past, because I'm really worried about what I would be like if I was 13 now and I'd be 36 with not knowing what it used to be like. And I think that I'm very thankful that I grew up. Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be like pre-COVID and after COVID, that there was a time that I can say, this is how things were in the game, in life, in sports. And then I can be able to, live that second part. And again, people, just be safe. If you want to rock your mask indoors, rock it. It's all good. No one's going to hate you for it.
At least, yeah. What about you, Julie?
Well, everybody is going to my parents' house. Thanksgiving to my mom is the most important holiday in her book. That is the one, because now that my brother is married and I'm married, we have to, it's tough when you have the multi-family balancing act, right? It's like 1 year with this family and 1 year with that, and everybody wants to see the kid. So we are going to my mom's house. She lives about an hour and a half away from me here in San Diego, and my brother's coming, but we are all getting COVID tested because we don't have a huge house and we're all staying under one roof for a good amount of time. And so we thought it would all be, it would be a good idea for all of us to get tested beforehand, just to make sure, so then we can just relax, and hang out. So that's what we are most looking forward to doing. But it should be fun. We're all excited, and then hopefully get everybody on Zoom, But what's so great about this Thanksgiving is that it gives people an excuse, right? If you don't want to go to your family, because not everybody has a close relationship with their family, and that's okay. And this gives everyone an excuse to not engage.
Yeah, I'm going to take care of you from over here. Right. Let's talk through Zoom. Yeah, 100%. One thing that I am missing from this year is that I usually took part with a turkey drive with Cesar Preston, who is a scout, who he just retired this year, was a scout with the New York Yankees. And he did a really big turkey drive. There's with Brian Cashman, he was always involved in the Bronx. And that's going to suck this year. I can't be around a lot of people, but I'm gonna miss being part of that for sure.
Yeah, it's nice to see both New York teams giving back. And the Mets have a long tradition of handing out turkeys to food pantries and to families in need, and the Yankees as well. And it's so wonderful, especially in a city like New York that has been through so much over the past year, and to be able to give back, because there are so many people, so many families in need, and just to brighten their holiday season by giving them some sense of normalcy and nourishment as well. So it's always wonderful to see the teams giving back. But that's going to do it for us on this edition of La Vida Baseball. Sound off in the comments. Let us know how you guys are celebrating. We want to know who's coming to your house. What are you eating? And what are you binging? Because let's be real, after the food is done, we all kind of watch TV. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at La Vida Baseball.